Hello students, welcome back to the class of English. Today we'll continue with the remaining part of the chapter My Childhood. So first of all, I read paragraph 9 before you. One day he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Siva Subramanya Iyer was not perturbed, nor did he get angry with his wife, but instead served me food with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us from behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after the meal. When I was leaving his house, Siva Subramanya Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. When I visited his house the next week, Siva Subramanya Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. Now the explanation. Iyer's wife belonged to a traditional and orthodox Brahmin family. She followed the religions very strictly, and to keep her kitchen pure, no one from an inferior religion was allowed to enter in her kitchen. One day, Subramanya Iyer called Kalam for dinner at his home. His wife feared that a boy from a Muslim family would make her kitchen impure. So, she refused to serve him food in her kitchen. Subramanya Iyer neither felt upset nor angry. He served him food himself and sat beside him to eat. Abdul Iyer's wife stood beside the kitchen door and looked at Kalam while he was having food. Kalam says that he doesn't think that she felt there was any difference in the way he was having food or in the way he was drinking water or in the way he cleaned the floor after the meal. He wanted to highlight that religions does not matter, as it does not alter the way in which a person eats. When Kalam was about to leave, Siva Subramanya Iyer invited Kalam once again. Iyer saw that Kalam was hesitant, so he asked him not to upset. And he added that if he had decided to change the system to go against the norms of the society, he had to be strong and brave. And when Abdul Kalam visited Subramanyam's house the next week, his wife made him sit in her kitchen and served him food with her own hands. This is the change that happened. Now the paragraph 10. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father for permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramnathpuram. When the Second World War got over in the year 1945, India was about to get freedom, which happened in the year 1947. M.K. Gandhi, who is known as the father of nation, said that Indians would build their own India. At this, the entire country felt very happy, and entire country was filled with hope. Everyone was, you may say, experiencing the feelings which they had never felt. Everyone was hoping now that they will get their freedom. Abdul Kalam asked his father to allow him to go to Ramnathpuram, which was the district headquarters for higher studies. Now, the paragraph 11. He told me as if thinking aloud, Abul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. When Abdul Kalam asked his father to allow him to go to Ramnathpuram, he replied that he knew that he needed to go away if he could move ahead in life. He also gave an example of a seagull who flies across the sun alone and without a nest. It means seagull does not have its own home, as it keeps on flying from one place to another. When Abdul Kalam's mother came to know that Kalam was about to leave home and wanted to go to Ramnathpuram for higher studies, she got upset. Kalam's father tried to calm her down, and he told her a few lines from the poem titled Your Children, written by Khalil Gibran. He said that your children are not your children. They are the children of life. And don't think you can rule your children, because they are a result of the life's desire for itself, and they have their own thoughts. And he also asked her to give them freedom so that they can fulfill their thoughts. That's all for today, children. Thank you.